we've been doing interviews for quite time, and I can tell you it is so much easier to interview our international guests with food on our table, actually.
Yes, you're right, definitely. The food does bring people together, don't you think?
We have someone who knows a lot about bringing countries together.
Oh yes, and not just through diplomacy, but also through culture and cuisine.
We're excited to welcome the ambassador of the European Union to Kazakhstan in our kitchen.
Aleška Simkič is a new guest of the Talk and Cook show. Mrs. Simkič, welcome to our program.
Thank you.
Very nice to meet you
Nice
today.
to meet you. Pleasure to have you here.
Very good to meet you. Thank you for inviting me.
So, dear ambassador, welcome to our wonderful kitchen. We're happy to have you here. So, please tell us, what are we going to cook today?
Well, I have to tell you that I don't cook a lot, but what I really enjoy doing is sweets. So what we will do today is make a tiramisu. I'm sure you all heard about it.
Yes,
wonderful,
it's
yes,
wonderful.
yes, of
And we
course.
love it sweet, so I think the perfect
Very
match is
good.
here. Right, so what kind of ingredients we have? It's not so much, but still, yeah?
Everybody thinks it's very complicated, but actually it's not. So what you need is mascarpone cheese, which should ideally be good. 250 grams would be for approximately 6 people, so maybe it's a little bit less that. You need these Savoiardi cookies, or lady fingers, as it is called.
Lady fingers.
Lady fingers.
Yes,
Lady
exactly.
fingers. You need fresh eggs, as fresh as possible, because it will not be cooked, so they have to be fresh. We need sugar and we need coffee that I made a little bit earlier because it needs to cool. It has to be cold
okay.
because we will need it for the cookies. So that's what we need. So we have to start by breaking eggs. We have to separate. The whites and the yolks.
Yeah.
Okay.
So what we will do is we will use these 2 bowls. And we will. Do you want me to break the eggs?
Yeah,
Let
please.
me do that. But you know that you have to put the white in here. Ah, you're doing it differently. Oy. Let's see how I broke it.
This is also not my strongest
Okay, so
skill,
whites are on
so
this
that's
one.
why I was like, yes, you do it, please.
And here is the yolk. So
so
where do I put the
separate.
garbage?
Yes, let me
Yeah.
have
And then what we do here, we mixed a little bit. We need 50 grams of sugar, in fact. Let's do it like that, yeah. And you put it in the yellow. We had the vanilla sugar here, right? Yeah. We put it in this.
How much?
All of it. It's 5 grams.
Oh,
so,
okay.
yeah. So it's 5 grams.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. We'll remember it. Okay.
Yeah. And now we have to mix this. So we mix mascarpone in.
All of it.
Yes. In a very.
I continue?
This is yes, please. This looks very good.
Yeah.
Very nicely done.
It's actually, funny.
It is called in Slovenian. This is called snow.
I
Snijek.
see, yes. Like a foam, yeah?
Yes, like a foam, and I think it has an English word. I will have to look it up, but it's meringue, I think. But it's egg white with sugar. and
I
it's,
see. We're making like a creamy, yes?
Yes.
Substance
It looks
out
like
of
a
it, yeah.
looks like a smetana, like this slivki smetana, but it's not. Very well done. I'm just supervising you guys. I feel very. But you know what I will do in the meantime?
Yeah.
So that we can save time, I will use this coffee and I will already make a layer of the cookies. So while you are mixing your things, you
yeah.
finished, I think, more or less. I will do this. What I will do is I'll take the lady fingers. This is coffee and it's a little bit cooled down and has just a little bit of milk in it so that it's not so strong.
Yeah.
Okay.
If you don't want to use it because it's for children, if you don't want to use the coffee, you can also use cocoa. It just has to be, of course, that the cookies get to be wet. But of course, the original tiramisu recipe has
It's more
coffee.
kid-friendly then,
Yes, exactly.
Could you please tell us more about yourself? You're originally from Slovenia, right?
Yes, I am originally from Slovenia. It's a small country. I don't know how much is known about it, but it's a very small country in the center of Europe. So, but I work now for the European Union here. Slovenia does not have embassy
In Kazakhstan.
Kazakhstan.
Oh, how come?
Well, you know, it's as I said, it's a small country. It has only 2 million people, so it has to choose where it will open embassies. And unfortunately,
I see.
for the time being, they have still decided to. Maybe later, because I understand that Kazakhstan will open the embassy in Ljubljana, in Slovenia. So let's hope that maybe also Slovenia then decides to do it.
And with you being here, I think maybe.
Anyway, now you represent not just one country, you represent
Yes,
the
of
whole
course, of
Union,
course.
European Union.
I represent 27 countries. But there are 21 are now have embassies here, whereas 5 are covered from other countries, mostly actually from Moscow. But yes, 22
So what
are
was
here.
your reaction when you were first appointed to this
Ah,
very important
It's a big
position?
responsibility,
Yes.
first of all, I think, yeah.
You know, I asked for it. I applied for it. So
Great,
it was
yes.
Kazakhstan was on my list of countries that I visited it first Astana back in 2009, you know.
What do you think about this?
I think it's great. We
success?
mix
Wow,
it
great.
inside now.
Yeah.
We mix this in this.
Have you time to, to explore the city, to explore, different locations so
Not
far?
just
It's
city, maybe the whole country.
I even made it to Almaty already.
wow,
Yes, I
that's a
made it
good
to Almaty.
destination.
I
Good
went
place
there
to
for
be.
running a marathon, so I'm not a marathon, just 10 kilometers.
Oh, wow, good for
and
you.
then Astana, I also explored a bit. I've been to opera, I've been to all the shopping centers that you have here.
Yes.
Of course, I haven't been up on Bajterek, but I was that 15 years ago. So yes, I managed to see. I was also, where I was? I was in Bayanaul National Park in Pavlodar region.
Pavlodar region.
So it is absolutely gorgeous. It reminded me of home, lakes and mountains, and it's just very, very nice.
Cool.
Can you recall some interesting stories while traveling around the Kazakhstan? Maybe you met
now
someone.
then.
So big. That's all I can say. It's like
The first impression, right?
I can tell you one thing. I'm not so sure I'm gonna make myself popular with your viewers, but yesterday there was a game, Kazakhstan-Slovenia football game in Almaty, right?
Exactly. Yes.
And Kazakhstan played really well. Well, Slovenia won, but Kazakhstan played really well. And there is one thing that my brother called me and said, "Are you going to the game? It's in your country." And I said, "But do you know that that's 2 hours flight away? It's 1,200 kilometers." He said, "Yes, but it's the same country." So for us, the concept of the size of the country is just not there, coming from a very, very small place. Like Europe, I said it would feel like you going to watch the game in Stockholm. That's how it would be. So it's a completely different country. Yeah. But otherwise, you were asking me about the people. We met this one guy in Bayanaul National Park. This gentleman, was older man, who has been living there and in such a passion explaining about this park and about everything about the cave, about the magical powers of the cave, etc. So really, really lovely. So now we can maybe put, this is so beautifully mixed because it shouldn't have any lumps in. So it's really, really beautifully done.
Yeah.
So what we do is we put one layer, I would say like approximately as much as cookies on this.
So, and meanwhile, tell us please about your plans on this position. I mean, it's very important for bilateral relation between cooperation of our countries. So, what are your plans for your assignment?
Well, I'm very lucky because I came in time when the relationship between European Union and Kazakhstan is actually quite high. We are working a lot on many issues. They have to be as close as possible. Yeah? So. We are working on many issues, like for example, the transport. We're trying to get things from China to European Union, and Kazakhstan is on the way. Global Gateway Initiative, which includes everything from the environment to the transport to building railways. We do it in such a way that we also take into account people around it. It's not only about building railways or it's about connecting people. And that's somehow my role here, to bring Europe closer to Kazakhstan, actually to bring Kazakhstan closer to Europe. Like this, and one more, and then you put the second layer of that. And it actually takes altogether, should not be more than 45 minutes to 1 hour maximum. But what is actually important, and that's why we will not taste all of it very soon, it's good to have it overnight in the fridge.
Okay.
So to prepare it, ideally 1 day before you want to eat it, or at least 3 hours, because it has to cool and all of these ingredients have to mix nicely together.
Yes.
So ideally you have it in the fridge for 1 hour before. For 1 hour, for 1 day before you serve it. That's the thing.
Tell us about Slovenia. Tell us about the cuisine of Slovenia. It's, I think, very interesting.
In a way, and that's what I like about being also representing the European Union. In a way, Slovenian cuisine is very much like European, not European, but it is where the country is very much in the center of different places. So it has Alpine world, it has Mediterranean world, and it has a Pannonian world.
So it's a great mixture of different cultures.
And also histories were so different that actually it's a culture, and while the Slovenian nation, Slovenian language kind of was kept on that territory, but there was a lot of Italian influence, Austrian influence, Hungarian influence. So depending which part of the country you come from, that's how the cuisine will be. So in the area close to the sea, it will be very Italian. So you will have all the pasta, and you will have pizza and all of these things. Exactly, and tiramisu, for example.
Yeah.
And then you have the northern part, close to Austrian border, where you have sausages and sauerkraut, you know, and it's actually a typical dish is so-called krajinska klobasa. That's how it's called. It's because Krajinska was the old name of Slovenia, was Kranj, and klobasa is sausage, kielbasa.
If you had an opportunity to represent your country just with one dish, what would it be?
I think it would be this krajinska klobasa or the sweet potica. So those will be the two things. Potica is with the walnut, with the kind of rolled dish. Also, it's too complicated to cook. I don't do it, but it's a great thing to buy. Yeah.
Yes.
And we have the last step. Now the only thing we still need is cocoa. So we have a cocoa. So we just cover it in such a way that it's a very, very thin layer. Sometimes I do it with a little sieve, you know.
Yes.
So that it's just you just cover it very nicely. It's like
any
any other.
Beautifully, you're right.
Yeah. So that's sometimes, especially if you have this harder cacao. This is a nice cacao, but if you have the harder one, then it's good to put it through the sieve, a small sieve, if you have it. And that's it.
And that's it.
That's it.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah. Was it difficult to make?
No, absolutely not. I mean, I'm just thinking, why didn't we cook it?
Yeah, I'm so sorry. I think I'm gonna be now dead to all of the Italian restaurants who are selling tiramisu, and they're saying it.
You're telling our secrets.
Anyway, I always forget all the recipes when I'm cooking here.
So you can watch the
again.
Yes, exactly. You just cover it and then you put it in the refrigerator, at least put it for a few minutes, but ideally, as said, leave it there for 3 hours and then it's done.
And while we're waiting for our tiramisu to be fully done, let me share with you some interesting facts about rich and diverse cuisine of the European Union countries.
Food historians assert that the roots of European cuisine were established in France. French culinary traditions have greatly influenced not only the cuisines of other European countries, but also those of many cultures worldwide. Today, the European Union is made up of 27 countries, each with its own unique culinary heritage. Did you know that the Greek feta is one of the oldest cheeses, mentioned as far back as Homer's Odyssey? Homer described how the Cyclops made cheese in a way that closely resembles the process of making feta. Today, feta holds the status of a protected designation of origin, meaning it can only be legally produced in specific regions of Greece, using sheep's or goat's milk. French onion soup was once considered food for the poor. Onions were affordable for everyone, and making soup from them became a way to feed the family during tough times. Today, it's a gourmet dish served with baked cheese and bread. The famous Margherita pizza was invented in 1889 in Naples for Queen Margherita of Savoy. The dish was topped with tomatoes, mozzarella and basil, representing the colors of the Italian flag, making the pizza a symbol of a united Italy. The homeland of our guest in this episode is also renowned for its culinary products. For example, Slovenian honey has been recognized by UNESCO as part of the country's cultural heritage. Slovenia is known for its beekeeping, and as a result, its honey is considered one of the most environmentally pure products.
look at our tiramisu.
3 hours after.
3 hours after.
In the refrigerator. That's how it looks like.
And it's ready. So I can wait to really taste it.
Yes.
To see what we've done today.
I hope that it will cut well. But you
Yes.
know what's the beauty of tiramisu as well? If it doesn't cut well, we can just take spoons and eat it like that. So
Exactly.
let's see what
Let's
happens.
see. So I invite you to our dinner table where we can, keep our conversation going and, to taste our tiramisu with a good black tea.
Wonderful.
Wonderful. Let's go.
Thank you.
So, dear ambassador, here's our favorite part of the show, and when we try our long-awaited dishes. So
yes, it serves
this
so
time-
beautifully, by
yes.
the way. Yes.
So this time the table is full of desserts, many kind of desserts. So I think we can start right now.
Yes. First with
With your
tiramisu.
permission, yes.
Yes.
Okay, I wanted to try first the Kazakh, but let me try if it worked.
Yes. Good.
It worked out well.
Yes. This creamy part, durian. Yes.
It's soft, nice, and
Yeah. You mixed that mascarpone very well.
Yes.
thank you very much.
She did it with the love.
It's very obvious.
Apparently, I'm wondering if I chose right profession for myself. Maybe
Yeah.
I should have been.
You have a big
chef.
potential.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did even, I think I wanted to ask you whether you're a chef or whether you wanted to be one at some point.
So we have prepared for you several Kazakh national sweets. Actually, first is yezhgi, something called with a mixture of sour cream, sheep milk. So it's basically very delicious dessert. I
Yeah.
hope you're gonna like it.
Tiramisu, I know. I don't know yet it is, so let's try. Do I use the loshka? Let's try.
And it has strawberries.
Now
Yes.
this
Lots
is
of
actually a similar consistency.
But it wasn't made by me.
This is really good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow. It's actually very funny because it has a similar, it looks as if it has a similar way of doing things. You know, there's a cheese, there is milky things, there is layers of some cookies or something. So it looks absolutely great.
What do you think?
Do you like it?
I think I had something similar. But it has it's very strong on some milk, no?
Yes.
You should have stayed a
It's
little bit
good.
longer.
It's good.
May I ask you about your position as an ambassador? May I ask you some question? Because it was always something interesting for me, being a diplomat. What is the hardest and the most challenging part of your job? Is it like being abroad, far away from your home, or something else?
Often I'm asked this question, being a diplomat. I started being a diplomat when I was 23. I started, so it's quite a long time ago. I'm not going to tell you how many years. But all my life, my career is diplomacy. And actually, there are many people who call themselves diplomats because they know how to talk. But what would be the easiest is actually, it's the easiest and the hardest to be away from home. Because it's easiest because usually you are received in a very good way. Usually people accept you, they talk to you, they are curious about your country. So you always feel very welcome. In all of the countries I lived, it was always very welcoming. And then you are able to present. And at the same time, it is sad, you are far away from the family. You do visit. Luckily, we have now good connections, flights, etc. There is internet. You hear, on all these possible communication channels, so you can hear them, but you're not there. And you start value your home very much. You start very much value your home country. Whenever I'm there, I feel, it's so wonderful. When I come home, when I come to Kazakhstan, I feel home. So home is where you will decide to be, but there is always this one home, and for me, that is my country. So that is the hardest part, and the easiest part is to travel. What I think is I'm talking a little bit too much, but the hard part is actually when you have some difficult messages to pass. Because the diplomacy is not only about enjoying food and drinks and, some things it's drinking champagne at the receptions. It's part of it. But what is really important is that you are there to give message to the country you are in. And sometimes these messages are not good. Sometimes you have to say you have to improve your work in this or that area, you know. Sometimes you say, why don't you allow us to import apples? You know, difficult topics sometimes that you have to raise, and this is the most difficult, because usually you work with a person that you may have had breakfast with, and then next day you have to tell him a difficult message. So that's probably the most difficult part of the job, is that you are in a friendly country with friendly people, but sometimes you simply have to give difficult messages.
I think in our case, it's like it would be more positive messages than difficult ones. And yes, as you are like newly appointed ambassador, we wish you all the best in your future endeavors and your stay in Kazakhstan. And may us present you with a little gift from Kazakhstan.
Yes, before you go, we've got one more present for you. So please, here you can find also some our national national sweets. So you can share it with your friends, with your colleagues, family.
Let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I think that's perfect. It's going to be just for the delegation. I think one per person in our EU mission.
And it's all made out of, you know, Kazakh traditional ingredients too.
Wonderful.
This is very Kazakh.
Thank you. But you know, you cannot, also in our culture, you have to give some podarok, some present when you come, especially when you are hosted. I have also something very little for you.
Wow. That's great.
It comes in a flag, of course, because that's what we are. But I saw that you have wonderful aprons, but I thought you may like one from ours, Taste of Europe. We may have to bring one more, because you are 2, so that we will take care of.
Please, Dorian, I think.
I think you mixed that mascarpone so well.
Very generous of you.
Yes.
And we have 2 books, though, because books is something that we like, which is Taste of Europe. So you will have seen that here there is you know, it's not only of European Union, it's the European Union flag, but there is all of the countries, like one of the dishes and
it's
recipes.
It's a culinary book, right?
It's a culinary book. It has a recipe, so from each country you have alphabetically and not alphabetically. For example, Sweden, you have lax pudding. I checked Slovenia. I would not be able to cook like that. And on Italy, for example, we had Italian dessert, but it's pasta alla norma. So you know, you have from each country. It's a little bit on a picturesque recipe in different languages. So, and that's one for each of you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for inviting
me.
me.
Very appreciated. Yes. Well.
So, dear ambassadors, thank you very much for being such a wonderful guest. We wish you luck in your job. And that's it for today. All the episodes of Talk and Cook show you can find on our official website and on the Silkway TV channel. So stay tuned and see you next week.